All right, this problem is asking you to find the empirical formula for a compound that has calcium, oxygen, and hydrogen. The problem establishes the amount of mass that was found from a particular sample of this. So what you need to do in order to get the empirical formula is ultimately come up with the lowest whole number ratio of atoms. That's the definition of empirical formula. Now, you can also do that by coming up with the lowest whole number ratio of moles of atoms. And that's what this chart I have here in front of me helps me do. You don't have to use the chart. It just helps me organize my thoughts on this particular problem. And so if you want to, great. If not, just do whatever you think is best. But at the end of the day, you do need to figure out the lowest whole number ratio of moles of atoms in the compound in order to get the empirical formula. So I'll start by writing out each of the three atoms, calcium, hydrogen, and oxygen, and the masses that the problems gave for me. 13.5 grams of calcium, 10.8 grams of oxygen, and 0.675 grams of hydrogen. Now, what I need to do first is convert those masses into moles, because I need to know the number of moles that each of those things represents. So I'm going to look at the periodic table, get the molar mass of calcium, take 13.5 divided by that molar mass, and I'm going to do the same thing with oxygen, 10.8 grams divided by 15.999 grams, and the same thing with hydrogen, 0.67 grams divided by 1.008 grams. Then when I put them into my calculator, I get 0.33 moles for calcium, 0.675 moles for oxygen, and 0.670 moles for hydrogen. Now I'm going to take those values and I'm going to go ahead and put them into my chart just so that I can keep track of things. And then what I do in order to get the whole number ratio is in this moles column, I find the lowest value. 0.337 is the lowest value of moles. So I want to divide each other value by 0.337. Actually, I'm going to divide them all because 0.337 divided by 0.337, that's 1. 0.675 divided by 0.337, that's 2.00. And 0.670 divided by 1.99, excuse me, 0.670 divided by 3.3, one more time, 0.670 divided by 0.337 is 1.99. Now, you look at this 1.99, and one of the things the students need to realize is that this is 2. The reason why it doesn't come up as 2 in your calculator is because you're not dealing with enough significant figures. And even if you had 5 or 6 or 7 significant figures, it might just be 1.9999. And so you need to recognize this as being 2, essentially very close, for all intents and purposes, it is the whole number 2. So I can write down the empirical formula now as CaO2H2, and that's just a fine answer for you. Now, maybe you're sophisticated, you realize that's the ionic compound calcium hydroxide, and you want to write down the formula like this. That's okay too. Both these answers are good. All right.